I'm going to start today's video off with a quote. The worst kind of hell is when your potential and your performance don't match. That comes from Dan Coe. I know you felt this before. Getting in your own way is the worst, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, the root cause of your self-sabotage and why you get in your own way. If you're watching this, you know deep down you're better than this. The voice inside is quiet yet unwavering, reminding you of your dreams, your ambitions, and your potential, of all the possibilities of who you could become and what you could do in this life. You see people all around you and online winning, and you think to yourself, man, if they can do it, so can I. But you don't. Instead, you're stuck asking, why are they winning and I'm not? So you make promises to yourself. You'll change. You'll prove yourself. You'll finally go for it. And you do for like 5 minutes. And then boom, you're right back to getting in your own way. Sabotaging your progress, talking yourself out of your dreams, doubting your potential, trapped by a soul-crushing combination of imposter syndrome, fear, confusion that seems to always creep in. If you don't understand what I'm about to share, you're going to spend your entire life trapped in this annoying cycle. You'll keep trying new productivity hacks, new books, hiring more coaches or paying for more courses, overall wasting time while the real problem remains unchanged. You'll waste years of your life fighting symptoms while the root cause of your self-sabotage continues to grow stronger. So please, for the love of God, don't skip this video. Take notes and leave them in the comments if you can. What I'm sharing today is going to be the reason that you end up winning if you pay attention to this short video. I've spent my entire life dealing with this problem, but I've spent the last 10 years studying this pattern, experimenting with different solutions, and breaking free from it time and time again myself. Going from someone who was programmed for failure, addiction, and total chaos to building multiple successful businesses, and over the last 4 years, helping over 100 other people overcome this pattern through my workshops, through my retreats, and through direct mentorship. What I'm talking about today genuinely works, and I'm super excited to share it with you because honestly, I should have ended up dead. I was drinking, smoking weed, and snorting pills by age 14. My older brother didn't make it out. Heroin ended up taking his life. And I would have ended up the same. By the grace of God, I didn't choose to smoke heroin even though it was offered to me. And again, less than 2 years after that, my brother lost his life to it. I grew up around people doing atrocious and totally self-destructive things. Abusing each other, abusing themselves, abusing me. And honestly, that doesn't even really scratch the surface. My default settings programmed me to fail, to be in poverty, to live in chaos, and definitely to lead myself towards certain death. And instead, I was blessed with this gift to write a new story for myself. Somehow in all of the chaos, I discovered the key to breaking out of a prison that I didn't even know I was in. And now I get to help others like yourself do the same through these cool videos and the other shit that I do. Hey family, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Chris. I earned my first $1 million in business by 25, and now I'm documenting lessons on my journey to $1 million a year doing what I love. On this channel, I share simple, proven strategies around mindset, productivity, manifestation, and business that have helped me and hundreds of other people win. So if you finally want to get out of your own way and start winning at the level you know you're capable of, be sure to subscribe. So to kick this video off, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like your own worst enemy? I hate that feeling. I've definitely felt that. It's like there's this gap between who you are and who you know you could be, between where you are and where you know you could go, and between you and everything that you want so badly. And the thing is, you've journaled, you've read books, you've taken courses, you've hired coaches. You do everything you think will solve this problem, but it doesn't, at least not for long. Your performance is not even close to your potential, and you know that. I know that. And it hurts a lot, deep in your gut, piercing through your heart, tightening up your throat, and overwhelming your mind. I've been there, but you can't quit. Otherwise, it would all be for nothing. And you've sacrificed a lot to be here. Plus, all that you dream about in this world, in your life, is worth it. You'd die for it. You feel so deeply that you are capable of being, doing, and having more. So my question is, why the hell do you keep getting in your own way? You got to figure it out, because if you do, everything will change. At least that's what you tell yourself. But as you'll learn today, self-sabotage is simply a symptom of a much deeper cause. Something that you can't fix or figure out, only understand, accept, and transform. I'll be the first to tell you, self-sabotage is a bitch. I'm speaking from personal experience, and I know you know what I mean. I call it getting in your own way because that's literally what happens. You trip and you stop yourself from showing up, winning, and living at the level you know you could. And you get in your own way. So first, self-sabotage shows up as things like creating chaos over stability, avoiding things, stalling or freezing up when the moment comes, playing small, people-pleasing, repeating old patterns that hurt your future self. And one of the biggest ones, procrastinating on the things that you know are important. And honestly, it could be many other things. A lot of the times it's super specific to the individual, although I've found many people like us have similar patterns. And we've all seen it happen, maybe looking at other people. Someone gets momentum and they start winning, and then mysteriously they shoot themselves in the foot. Another person loses 50 pounds and they're on this like health and fitness journey, then they gain it all back. Or I've even seen, and maybe you have too, there's entrepreneurs who go build something great, but they find a way to destroy it. And I've definitely experienced this, and maybe you have too. There's people who finally get themselves into a healthy relationship, and then they sabotage it. So I've been wondering, and you probably have as well, why does this keep happening? And the ironic and annoying part is that self-sabotage is actually a protection mechanism. Your mind is literally trying to keep you safe by keeping you the same. Because to your mind, change is scary, and it's perceived as a threat. Your current state of mind wants to keep you safe. And sadly, in this video, I wish that I could tell you the solution to your problem is you need to be more disciplined, stop being lazy and weak, just think more positively, try this new productivity hack, or whatever else you've been told by others or have told yourself, but that's not the solution you're looking for. As I said a second ago, self-sabotage is a symptom to a deeper problem. One that you cannot see, hear, taste, smell, or touch. One that you didn't even choose but were given anyways. And one that is robbing you of the life that you know you're capable of living and the person that you know you're capable of becoming. As one of my teachers, Bob Proctor, famously said, you'll never be able to break out of a prison if you don't know you're in one. So think about it. You're in this prison and you just continue to trap yourself. There's the prison bars. You continue to trap yourself and you don't quite know why. This prison is your subconscious programming, also known as your conditioning, your predominant state of mind, your frequency, your paradigm, your identity, and so on and so forth. There's lots of different ways to describe it, but it's really one thing. It's the default settings that were installed into you from a young age. And these settings, they came from traumatic experiences that shaped you. For me, this was experiencing physical, mental, emotional, and sexual abuse as a kid. It also came from people that surrounded you, your parents, your siblings, your relatives, your teachers, your friends, and so on. The other thing that caused this is your environment, your home, where you grew up, like what city, town, or state, or country, plus the material objects that surrounded you and the energy that you experienced as a kid. Another thing, heredity, generational trauma, like your ancestors' beliefs, fears, experiences, and unprocessed emotions were passed on to you. And the last cause, and maybe the most important, is yourself. Your own self-talk, your choices, and the beliefs that shaped how you see yourself. Because basically as a kid, you were like a sponge that soaked up everything around you until your default settings became a set and forget type of function. And now your mind is doing everything it possibly can in its power to keep you in line with these default settings, or in other words, to keep you in this prison that you didn't even know you were in. These settings are like rules for living, and your fragile mind became your own prison that you didn't even know about. Even if your childhood or life experience seems normal from the outside looking in, you still accumulated wounds, experiences, and beliefs that shaped you for better or for worse. So here's a simple example that I'll draw that will blow your mind. So I want you to imagine we have this little 5-year-old kid, okay? And he goes up to his dad to ask his dad a question. So he walks up to his dad. Let me just write dad here so you can see that. So this 5-year-old kid walks up to his dad and he's like, "Hey dad, can I?" But before he can finish, the dad looks at him and says, "Shut up, I'm on the phone." Boom, damage is done. This kid's undeveloped mind decides in this moment, I'm not loved, my voice doesn't matter, it's best to be seen and not be heard. And now 25 years later, he's a grown-ass man wondering why he can't speak up for himself in his relationships, why he lacks self-confidence, why he's not successful. One moment, 25 years ago with his dad, one interaction led to 25 years of torment, for this person because his default settings were created from experiences like that. And I want to explain why. Gabor Mate, who's an expert on trauma, says trauma isn't what happens to you. It's what happens inside of you as a result of what happens to you. And like this experience, we all handle our experiences differently. One kid gets abused and then later becomes an abuser. Another one becomes a protector instead. One kid lacks love from their parents and later commits suicide or ends up on drugs. Another one becomes a success because they had something to prove their entire life. It's all subjective. It's based on your unique experience and how your young mind interpreted it, just like this 5-year-old kid in this story. So now what happens? You try to change your life. You try to change who you are, and your subconscious program freaks out. It goes, wait, hold on. This isn't who I am. This isn't safe. Let me get us back to what's familiar. And if you're anything like me, I grew up in chaos. So the default is fucking chaos. And that's why you self-sabotage. Your mind is literally trying to protect you from change. And that's why the work that I've done on myself and now get to do with other people every day is so fascinating to me. It makes me like emotional. It's literally the doorway to freedom, to success, to self-acceptance. It's the key to break out of a prison that you didn't even know you were in. You were never broken. You were never weak. You simply this entire time have had outdated default settings that have been holding you back, that have been causing you to get in your own way. Getting passionate. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, be sure to check out my newsletter in the description. And if you'd like to break through an income ceiling, I recorded a training talking about the one shift that I made that over tripled my monthly income. You can learn more about that. Links are in the description. So now we have some context. We talked about, the 5-year-old kid and trauma and all these things that are subjective. So now you're probably wondering, so how do we actually stop self-sabotage once and for all? Well, the sad part is we don't, at least not completely. As they say, different levels, different devils. We will always be working on ourselves, and anyone who says otherwise or tells you otherwise is full of shit. Self-mastery and self-actualization are a never-ending process. As you become better, as you pursue bigger things, you will need to equip yourself with the right state of mind to match it. Otherwise, you'll self-sabotage and you'll get in your own way. So a better question is, what can we do to stop the cycle of self-sabotaging when we realize that we're in one? Well, I want to just say this. For starters, not by forcing it and not by shaming yourself. Because anytime you say or think, I should, you are placing yourself into the lowest state of mind possible, which is shame, which unfortunately is going to fuck you up even more and cause you to self-sabotage. It's so ironic. In order to solve this problem first, we must elevate ourselves to a new default state of mind, new default settings that are no longer holding us back constantly. And we can only do that by going to the root. So I want you to imagine we have this really beautiful tree, okay? We have this nice tree with the branches and all that cool shit. The thing is, we can't fix this problem by just treating the leaves. We have to go to the root of the tree, okay? All these beautiful roots here, those are what have been tampered with. As the wise metaphor says, your roots determine your fruits. And unfortunately, like I say, most of us have had our roots tampered with. And we are learning this lesson the hard way in real time. You can't get new results with the same old programming or default settings. And here's the thing, most people have this backwards. They think, oh, I just need to be more disciplined. I just need to think more positively. I just need to try this better productivity system or whatever else. Nah, man, that's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken bone. It's really not going to do jack shit. The real solution to self-sabotage is this: healing those tampered with roots by reprogramming your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions, your self-image and behavior, what I call your default state of mind. Now, I'm not saying this process is easy, but I promise you it is simple. Joseph Campbell has a beautiful quote that summarizes it. In the cave of your greatest fears lies the treasure you seek. So all the things that you're hoping to create in your life, all the things you're hoping to become, the key to those things is in those roots, in the things you fear. And this is the real work, because it takes so much courage to dive into our mind and to see what we'll find. But it is the highest return on investment thing we can do for ourselves. It's going to enable you to attract and manifest the things that you want, make more money and improve your lifestyle, and better yet, have it stick. Experience more joy, happiness, and fulfillment in your life. And I would say even most importantly, step into a more powerful and capable version of yourself. The subconscious mind is the closest thing to magic that we have access to as everyday, regular, ordinary people. I've used it and I continue to use it, not only to realize my dreams, but now I get to share with other people like you to help you do the same. Now, I'm going to teach you how to do this using 3 of my favorite tools: shadow work, somatic release, and subconscious reprogramming. So let's jump right in to strategy number 1, which is shadow work. And the goal with shadow work is we want to identify and we want to challenge your current programming. So as you can see, I've got this little stick figure down here. Hopefully you can see that. It's this guy who's being tormented by his ghost. In other words, being tormented by his own shadow. So I first just want to talk about, well, what is the shadow? The shadow is like a psychological container that contains all of like our hurt, all of our pain, all of our past hurts, all of the unconscious programs and patterns that exist within us, basically. And most people live their entire life completely in the dark, unconscious of their programming, or as I've referred to it in this video, their default settings. They just react based on old patterns without ever questioning them. You have to become aware of your default settings first. So a few things you can try. Ask yourself, what patterns keep showing up in my life? Where do I typically self-sabotage? What stories do I tell myself about what's possible or about who I am? And lastly, what did I learn about success, money, relationships, and so on growing up? You want to take those questions and write this shit down. Get it out of your head and get it onto a piece of paper where you can see it clearly. And that's really shadow work, is like making the unconscious conscious, as Carl Jung would say. So you want to spend some time journaling on these questions, and then once you identify those patterns and you start to bring those beliefs to the surface, you got to challenge them. Most of your programming or your default settings are not even true. It's just outdated survival mechanisms and beliefs from a young age that you didn't even really choose or control. They just kind of happened. So that belief that says, oh, I'm not good enough. Well, says who? Based on what evidence? The fear that, oh, if I succeed, then other people will judge me. So what if they do? Start questioning everything. Just because you believe something at the age of 5 doesn't mean it's still serving you 15, 25, 35, or 45 years later. So as you're doing this shadow work, you're confronting your ghost, so to speak. For every limiting belief you find or piece of programming that doesn't fit, you want to ask yourself questions like, is this actually true? Where did this come from? How is this belief serving me or not serving me now? And what would I believe instead if I could choose? Because the beautiful thing is you can. So again, shadow work is about making the unconscious conscious by identifying and challenging your default settings and programming. And then once you've done that, or you don't really have to do these in order, but I'm going to lay them out in order. Once you've kind of dug up the unconscious, it's time for step 2, which is, I spelled this wrong. It's time for step 2, which is somatic release. And here's the thing that most people miss, especially people who make these kind of videos on YouTube. Trauma and our programming, subconscious programming, don't just live in our mind. They also live in our body. You can try to think your way to new beliefs, but if your nervous system and your body as a whole is still programmed and tuned into your old reality, you're going to continue to sabotage. We need mind and body coherence for this to work. For our mind and our body to cooperate when it comes to helping us show up as our best and to get the results that we want. And this is why things like breath work, yoga, meditation, even talk therapy, and I would say the most powerful, in my opinion, plant medicine, have been so powerful, at least for me. And I would say that all those things help more than anything else, because when you release this old programming from your body, not just your mind, it's actually going to stick. And the thing is that programming is in your body in the form of old energy, old emotions that need to be processed and let go of. Our emotions get stuck in our body and they take up space in our auric field. So that leads to us attracting the people, the circumstances, the events, and the outcomes that match our stuck emotions' energetic vibration. For me, I carried so much sadness, so much anger, grief, shame, and other low vibration emotions in my body. It's no wonder why most people feel like they cannot catch a break. They are literally a damn magnet to chaotic energy, as that is what's been deeply imprinted into their body and their nervous system. So somatic release is about getting rid of that energy, releasing it from the soma, the body. And when we clear that stuck energy in and are more deeply connected to our bodies, we will look better, feel better, and perform better, and we become way more magnetic to the things that we want. Personally, I would recommend starting with a 30 to 90 minute breathwork session so you can experience this fully for yourself. You can find one on YouTube, or if you'd like to join my monthly session, you can sign up for my newsletter down below and I'll send you an invite. I love breathwork. I think it's so powerful. And you could also just try maybe like a simple daily practice where you spend 5 minutes doing some deep breathing. You breathe in for 5 seconds, hold for 5 seconds, exhale for 5 seconds, hold for 5 seconds. Little things like that start to rewire and repattern your nervous system for calm instead of chaos. So the beautiful thing is that when we release these stuck emotions and this stuck energy from our body, it helps with us resetting the mental default settings that we were given and helping our body and our mind become more accustomed to having the capacity to hold all the things we're calling in, to hold this new identity we're becoming, to hold these new results that we're manifesting, and everything like that. It's incredibly powerful. Highly recommend you try it. So once we've dug up our old default settings and looked at our shadows, we've also released stuck emotions in our body and stuck energy in our body. Now it's time for the third strategy, which is subconscious reprogramming. So subconscious reprogramming, this in my opinion is where most people fuck up. Excuse my language. They try to change overnight what potentially took 20, 30, or 40 years to accumulate. Unfortunately, that is not how our mind works. It's like a garden, okay? And you've been planting seeds in it your entire life. And like a garden, it requires tending to. You need to cultivate the right soil. You need to plant the right seeds. You need to water and fertilize it so it's ready to produce vegetables and fruit, and so on. So what I'm saying is you basically need to re-brainwash yourself, because the world as it is right now is constantly trying to brainwash you and impress things into your subconscious. And as a kid, let's face it, you were brainwashed pretty much against your own will because you were a sponge to everything in your environment. So with subconscious reprogramming, here's a few of my favorite techniques. Want to write this down? Go for it. The first one is priming the mind around sleep. Our mind is most receptive when we are about to fall asleep and when we first wake up. Use this to your advantage to plant the seeds that you'd like to bear fruit. So things like affirmations and visualization during this time, morning and night, is like a cheat code. I literally do this shit every day. Morning and night, I'm actively planting those seeds and reprogramming my subconscious mind. The second thing, symbolic suggestion. So we want to create tangible and visual representations of what you are looking to transform or manifest. For me, this is creating a vision board to have as my background on my phone and my computer, and also photoshopping images of me winning in advance. So for example, having a photo of me or 1 million subscribers on YouTube or a certain amount of money in my bank account and kind of posting those around my house so I become more used to seeing them. And one that I'm experimenting with right now is using one of Bob Proctor and Earl Nightingale's goal cards is what they call them. So it's basically like a business card. You write down your number one goal on, and then you carry it around as a constant reminder. The reason that all these strategies work is because our subconscious mind thinks in images. So the more visual or tangible we can make the things that we're wanting to create, the better, especially when it comes to imprinting these things on our subconscious mind. And that's why visualization is so powerful, because the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is illusory. And we can trick it by using things like this to imprint deeper and deeper and reprogram our default settings. And then the third thing you can do for subconscious reprogramming that I love is simply create new evidence. Your subconscious believes what it experiences repeatedly, and it's always looking for evidence. So you can create your own evidence that contradicts your old programming and starts to affirm the new programming you want to keep. So if you believe, oh, I always fail or I always quit, start with tiny wins you can't fail at. Literally something so stupid. I brushed my teeth today? Yeah. I went on a walk. I got outside? Nice. I went to the gym? Sick. Like, really pat yourself on the back as much as possible to affirm to yourself you are who you say you are. You're basically just building evidence that you're someone who follows through. If you believe, oh, I'm not worthy of success, start treating yourself like someone who is. Upgrade your environment. Upgrade your habits. Upgrade your standards. The people you surround yourself with, even in small ways. Your subconscious is going to start going, maybe we're different than I actually thought. You want to start small. You want to stack wins, build that momentum, and let the evidence begin to speak for itself. Something I'm doing this week is I'm joining a new gym here in Austin, Texas to get around more fit people, to elevate my standard and also make this new lifestyle I'm living more regular to myself. Okay, guys, to wrap this up, I want to share one powerful reminder. This process of healing the root cause of self-sabotage and stopping yourself from getting in your own way is not really a process of learning anything new or becoming anything new. It's actually about unlearning and unbecoming everything that wasn't you in the first place. As they say in Christian theology, you were made in the image of our Creator, and you carry within you that divine spark of the all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-present. That potential that you feel, that little voice that's telling you you're meant for more, that's your authentic self trying to break free from the prison of other people's limitations that were placed on you. Remember, as Joseph Campbell said, in the cave that you fear lies the treasure that you seek. Your current state of mind is the only thing standing between you and the life that you want. If you shift this, everything else will follow. As we discussed today, self-sabotage isn't actually your enemy. It's simply just an outdated protection mechanism. Once you understand that, then you can simply begin upgrading your programming, as we talked about, your default settings, rather than fighting against it. Be sure you comment your biggest takeaway down below. Subscribe if this video opened your eyes to anything new or you found it valuable. And don't forget to join my newsletter in the description. Check out the other links in there. And stick around because I think you'll love this video about self-image I made. And until next time, my friends, that's the video. Much love. I'll see you in the next one.